Annual Men's Health event, not to be our last. I know this will surprise you, but it's difficult to get men to come to an event to talk about their own health. So we're working very hard to continue to expand awareness of men's health issues. Would you join me for just a minute in thanking our physicians for spending their Sunday morning with us? Thank you very much, gentlemen. Really appreciate it. Florida Hospital has more than 11 hospitals and 200 physicians' offices right here in Tampa Bay. Florida Hospital Carrollwood is just a few miles down the street. I want to thank them for partnering with us for this event. They're about to open 15 brand new emergency rooms, which will double the size of their emergency. They'll also add some pediatric rooms, which we're very excited about. So we as a company continue to expand to offer the health care that Tampa Bay needs. We also want to thank our partners, the Buccaneers. It's a pleasure to have the Advent Health name right here at the Buccaneers training facility, now titled Advent Health Training Facility. So thank you to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Will you join me in thanking them? Yeah, very good. But what's most important, and the reason you are sitting in these seats, is actually not to hear from me, and I am well aware of that. The individual that I want to introduce now is somebody very special to me. He's become a friend of mine here in Tampa Bay. But let me make sure I catch all of what you need to know. Most of you don't need an introduction to Mr. Derrick Brooks. In 14 years with the Bucs, he was selected to the Pro Bowl 11 times. He was named All-Pro 9 times. He was Defensive Player of the Year, and he does have a Super Bowl ring if you want to see it. His career was highlighted by his induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2014. I have been there, and I have my selfie with the Derrick Brooks head. It's very cool. His life outside of football has been just as outstanding, including awards for Citizen of the Year, the Leroy Selman Lifetime Achievement Award, Community Hero Award, the Boys and Girls Club Community Champion Award, and the Tampa Metro Citizen Outstanding Citizen of the Year. Not only have other organizations recognized Derrick for what he's done in the community, but he's founded his own work. The Derrick Brooks Charities work to provide youth with educational programs and opportunities to develop a cultural and social vision to transform Tampa Bay. The Derrick Brooks DeBartolo Collegiate High School was formed with Derrick Brooks' vision in mind for innovative and advanced teaching to be within the reach of all students in Tampa Bay. I've toured that school. It's an incredible gift that Derrick has helped fund and sponsor, and more importantly, bring his vision to. Will you please join me in welcoming number 55 in his gold jacket, Mr. Derrick Brooks. Thank you for being here, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. I never heard Brian talk so long. So what's up with this group over here? Y'all don't want to join the center stage? I'm serious, y'all. This is my best side. No, let's everybody get in the middle. Come on, everybody, just get in the middle. We for the form. We're gonna treat this like a locker room. I would say I need glasses to see you, but I don't. But again, I want to thank everybody for coming out here and being a part of this symposium and this educational opportunity to obviously discuss us and getting better. And to me, you know, talking about health and wellness is something that not only is it educational, but it is transformative. And it's along the same lines I get asked this one question the time before that relates to what we're here today. And it was a question, someone said, Derrick, do you have any regrets in your career? I said, wow, that's a catch-22. They said, no, do you wish you would have done anything or anything different? I said, you know what? There is one thing that I wish I would have been more educated about that probably would have made me a better player. I say, but more importantly, would have probably made me a better individual sooner in terms of my health. And the young man say, well, what is that? I said, yoga. He said, yoga? I said, yes. I said, I wish when I was younger, I would have started doing yoga. I started doing yoga in 2006, towards the tail end of my career. I said, I wish someone or something would have just told me about yoga back in the late 90s when I was playing. And I feel I would have been so much flexible, so much better. So I just feel I would have been a better human being when it came to my health because I truly, truly enjoyed it. I said, I thought yoga was the 10-minute stretch that we do before practice. But my friend Diamond Dallas Page, he's actually the one that asked me that, a former professional wrestler who now he has his own yoga franchise called DDP Yoga. And he actually introduced me to it by asking me that question. And this was before his business took off in the yoga industry. He just started doing it. And he talked about the benefits of it, so I tried it. And I tell you today, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love doing it now. I'm not saying I'm ready to teach anybody in doing it, but I absolutely enjoy doing it. And that's the one question, as I said, in terms of if I'd have been more educated about, it had something to do with my health and very little to do with my playing career. So I challenge you guys today, and we've heard from how many specialists today, from hearts to joints to shoulders to mental. We heard from everybody today. But more importantly, it's about what we listened and what we heard and how we turn that into an action plan. How are we going to turn that into an action plan? And the simple message of an action plan is any activity is great activity. It's inactivity. That's the problem. That's what we want to change the mindset. Because I believe every single day you have an opportunity to get better or get worse. And today we're going to get 1% better as one team. We're going to leave here feeling good. We're going to leave here feeling whole because we got 1% better today by taking this education and doing something about it. One thing from today. I don't care if it's start walking. I don't care if it's increase your health screenings from no times a year to 1 a year. For those that go 3 times a year to 4 times a year. I'm a guy that likes to get checked every 2 months, so I go 6. But last year I was going 5. But I want to make sure that I give myself every single opportunity to take care of my body. And men, I know we're part of that generation where we're indestructible. We think we can overcome anything. We have that mindset when you see a problem, you're going to solve it. Nothing bothers me. I'm all right. I'm okay. I'll get past it. Just give me a drink of water and I'll be fine. But that's not the case anymore. That's not the case anymore. We're not indestructible. We don't know all the answers. We just can't tough it out. It's not like an injury that you play through. We have to make sure we take every sign of something that's wrong with us and get educated about it. And yes, does that mean talking to the doctors more often? Absolutely. And I'm glad to see the women here for your husbands to pester them to death to do it. Pester them to death to do it. Make sure you take care of us. Make sure you, as my wife says, she's gonna be my life coach to make sure every 2 months I'm going to get myself checked out in some area. Whether it's orthopedic or whether it's internal or whether it's mental. She wanna make sure that she's my coach because that's the only language she say I listen to is coach language. So ladies, please make sure you push us. Don't settle for we all right. And men, make sure that we open not just our ears, but our minds and our hearts to listen to our bodies. And that's a challenge that I'm asking you guys today, to take this education and do something about it. Become active, no matter what age you are, no matter what you're doing, you can find some form of an activity to do at least once to twice a week. Besides this, we can find something else to do in addition to eating. And then change our eating habits. Change our eating habits. What can we change about our eating habits to make us a better person? I can't eat the same as I did when I was running around on this field, where I could just take in any meal and know that I'm finna go out here and run it off. I can't do that anymore. I had to change my lifestyle. I had to change my lifestyle. I know some of you probably looking at me wearing black and say black make me look skinny. All right? But literally I changed my entire habit when it comes to eating, to make that adjustment, to listen to my body, And I was blessed, I'm gonna knock on some wood here, that I played 296 games and never had a major injury. Never had a major surgery while I was playing. Played every game of my career. I know I'm blessed, I'm one of few to do it. But I feel I was able to do that because I took care of my body. Took care of my body. Every teammate of mine can tell you, what did I do every single day when practice ended to practice ended? I got in the cold tub. I had a plan. I got in the cold tub. If I left off that field and my finger was hurting, I was in front of the trainer. Hey, Todd, my finger's hurting. What do we do about this? It wasn't go home or just shake it off, I'll be all right. But I took care of my body because I feel my body rewarded me to show up to work every single day and never miss a game. I had a plan. What's your plan today when you leave here? You got a lot of information given to you. But you got to have a plan to do something about it. And it's not, I'm gonna start when I feel I'm this. Guys, we gotta start now. We gotta start today. And the first part of it is you guys showing up here. And now you have this opportunity to take this education, come up with a plan, and then the next phase is share it with somebody else. Partner with a friend. Now I'm talking to everybody in here, men and women alike. Partner with a friend, a family member, and do it together. Do it together, the power of team. Together, everybody achieves more. Find an accountability partner when it comes to your wellness. Find an accountability partner to keep you intact, to keep you on the game plan as well as your friend. It's the same thing in life. And I leave and I share this before I open up the questions. Everything in life that I've achieved, I've been part of a team. Whether it was the team of my parents raising me, well, they had to team up for me to get here, first of all. Then raise me till I started playing sports when I was 6 years old. Everything that I accomplished in life has been part of a team. Whether it's the team of my wife and our family, to what I currently do now, and work with Mr. Vinnick is part of a team. All my accomplishments, I've had to be part of someone else buying into that vision and us working together, or me buying into their vision and we working together. So that's the only mindset. Only thing I do by myself is play golf, and I wish I had a friend to help me with that too. But everything I accomplished in life has been part of a team. Together, everybody achieves more. So I share that with you when you're coming up with your health plan. How we're gonna leave here together feeling whole. I challenge you guys to do your best to find an accountability partner. And for those that can't, be your own accountability partner. Be that partner that you look into the mirror every single day and compete against. Because that partner there that you're looking back and forth with, they don't care how big you are, how tall you are, how skinny you are, what color you are, how fast you are, how slow, that accountability partner that you look at every single day, they just care that you give effort. That you give that person a chance every single day. Effort doesn't require talent. Effort just requires doing it. That's all effort requires. So you start with that effort, you find an accountability partner, and for those that can't, you put that back into yourself and you look yourself in the mirror and let that person be your accountability partner. All right? So with that, if you got a question, stand up. I feel we're close enough where I can hear you, and I'll do my best to answer your question. So please, you don't want me asking you guys questions, I promise. Yes, sir.
Mr. Brooks, thank you for everything you've done up in Tampa, and it looks like you're going to be around a lot more. What do you want to be remembered for? After your playing days, we'll always remember what you've done for us. So, what do you want to be remembered after? What's your next your legacy?
Well, for me, to be honest with you, when the Lord takes me home, I like to say, simple, let my actions speak for me, and the legacy of my kids, my 4 beautiful kids, my 2 daughters and 2 sons. To me, it's about the legacy that I leave in them and pour it into their dreams. And I just simply, if I had to say what the one thing is I just want people to know that I put God first in all I did, and I treated people the way I wanted to be treated. I'll sum it up that simple, because that's my life mission, is put God first in all I do and treat others the way you want them to treat you. And that's all I try to do, is be genuine in my relationships. And God has blessed me to go play that game on that field that's 100 yards long and 37.5 yards wide, to take that and influence life well beyond that. It's truly been an amazing journey for me. So I would simply say that sentence, if I had to be remembered by that, and again, let the legacy speak through my kids and my family. Thank you.
Brooks, again, thank you for being here today and all you did for our community and still do for our community. You hear about folks playing the NFL, and careers are short, and they have these lifelong injuries, whether it's concussions or knees or shoulder. And you were blessed to never miss a game, but do you have any nagging injuries now post-career or not?
Well, I was hoping to get out of here without that question. Now my ankle started hurting, man. Golly. I got a limp. No, but yes, I did. I played with some injuries every game. I think once these players hit the field for the first time, they're never 100% healthy, and I'm included. So it's going to be something wrong every single day playing this game. We are grown men that have the luxury of colliding against one another. And football is to me, probably the only job that's non-transferable, meaning there's nowhere else in America that you can take the skill of hitting another human being and go make a living outside of football. It's non-transferable. But the things you learn from colliding with another human being, that's what's transferable. Perseverance, grit, grind, overachieving, living up to expectations, humility, fighting through injuries, self-discipline. All those things are transferable. And for the guys that do play and do go through major injuries, it's those things that they have to depend on. That's where, as I said before, you have a team of men that lift each other up to go through those times. It's one thing that I did, that I played, that I think was, I don't know how it came to me, but one day I just did it. I just took a Bible and I put it in our training room, right on the training table. And the trainer, Todd Torselli at the time, he looked at me and he said, "Derrick, why are you putting this Bible here?" I say, "Because this is the place we need all the healing at this time." I say, "I think we lost 4 in a row now, so we need a little bit of help so people get out of here to get on the field." But it also gave me a small opportunity to introduce, my faith and be bold about it to our team. And you can imagine that all the men that was the only time sometimes touched that Bible was when they were in the training room. And one day, that Bible fell into one of our cold tubs. True story. It didn't sink. It stayed at the top. So I say this is a true testament that Jesus walked on water, because that Bible did not sink. So it is a great story. But for those guys that do have lifelong injuries, you know, they're dealing with them. And as far as the concussion goes, this game is a lot safer now. This building that you guys are sitting in, it's a result of that. You know, from understanding that our game has changed, and it's no longer that it's okay to practice out in the heat as many days as we did. But education tells us that guys need to be in a cooler environment, and their body responds, you know, better, you know, in this type of environment. So, I mean, the education of the game, and my son, he's a player now at Florida State University. And as a parent of someone that plays football, I'm glad the game is getting safer, because I'm a more educated parent than what my parents were to me when I played, in terms of recognizing what concussions are, how do you recognize them, the treatment protocol once you get one. So all those things are making our game a whole lot safer, and believe it or not, it's making it better. Now, I know some of us traditionalists out there, you know, we're not a game no more that you're going to see the big collisions, and everyone says that it's touch football, and I can't say that I totally disagree with you. But I think players now understanding that our game is changing, and it's more about tackling, it's more about, you know, concision blocking than it is to just running and knocking somebody out. So I think our game is changing, and believe it or not, I think it's going to make it better, and hopefully it'll cut down on those long-term injuries. Now, you're pretty brave. You got a Seattle Seahawks football shirt on.
I'm going to even be brave.
No, wait a minute, whoa. In the Avid Health training facility. I think we got a drill. We all going to line up and tackle you. No,
It just shows how open-minded y'all are.
Yes, sir.
But you were a linebacker, so maybe this doesn't apply to you, but I've seen...
Oh, yeah, I can tackle you wearing that shirt. I probably could muster up about 2 minutes of talent to take...
Keep telling yourself that. But I've seen a lot of, you know, video and pictures of NFL linemen, and in their later years, they've lost some weight. They're looking good. You're looking good, by the way, too. So as your metabolic rate decreases, how have, you know, I don't know if you have any friends who are linemen, how have they changed their eating habits? How have you changed your eating habits to try and keep the weight off?
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to mention that here at some point, but most of the linemen that you see now that carry, again, that's a great observation. I would say most guys that are linemen, I would even take it above 50% when they've played, that they're in their, you know, 300 to 350 range, that now guys that are down to 250 to 275 and looking sleek. And part of it, a lot of it is changing their eating habits. A lot of them now have time to do more of the cardiovascular training, whether they're running miles or walking longer. They do get to do more cardio stuff in terms of losing weight, versus when they're playing, they got to maintain that in strength. So it's never offensive lineman when you're playing. You're probably not going to run no more than 15 yards. Be honest with you. When a running back or receiver running 15 yards, they're stopping. So as an offensive lineman, for example, they don't get a chance to sprint. But when they get through playing, they get a chance to now involve themselves into doing more of the running, and whether it's running, whether it's elliptical. A lot of guys do cycling now. We just had a men's forum phone call about, you know, guys now that are getting into cycling and biking to do it. But you will see that. And how you change your eating habits is, one, you cut back on your fast food. You know, you don't need to get, you know, the super duper. If you want a burger, just get a small one. I'm not saying not get a burger, just don't got to get a double quarter pounder. You know, so you change eating habits with fast food. And a lot of guys now are going, they're eating, really eating less meats, more fish, more chicken, and a lot more vegetables. And now when you start thinking about your hydration, from water to staying away from, you know, the drinks as much. Well, you know, people drink sodas. But again, it's about the amount and the quantity that you take in. You're seeing guys doing that a lot less. And like I said, then there's some of the soft stuff. Guys are now doing more of the yoga, Pilates, particular training and doing those things. So those are some of the things that linemen did. Now, as far as my eating habits go, I don't eat as much red meat as I used to. I'm a big fish eater. I eat tons of seafood and fish and a lot of vegetables. Now, again, I enjoy the occasional wings and fast food, but again, it's about the quantity. I don't go overboard because I know I'm not, for to go out there and train. Right now, I work out, but for 14 years, I trained. The difference is night and day, okay? I'm asking you guys to work out. I'm not asking you guys to train, okay? Now, some of you want to take it to that level, be my guest, I applaud you. I will be your accountability partner and rooting you on. But training back then is you had to push yourself past the point where you failed to a different degree, and quite frankly, I've been there, done that. Yes, a couple more questions, please. Yes, sir.
Yeah. If you can go back in time to your younger self, what you can say to yourself?
If I could go back in time, I would tell myself, don't cut that first gray hair out of my head when I was 10. I probably wouldn't have as much. No, if I could go back in time, I probably would tell myself to probably enjoy the moments more. That's probably something that I'm probably guilty of when I played, is I never really took time to coin the phrase, I never really smelled the roses of my career when I played. I honestly never got a chance to fully enjoy the high moments of our career and push past through. I never really did that. I was so much into the moment when I played that I never really fully enjoyed it. And it kind of hit me the day when I was announced, and I got the call in New York that I was going into the Hall of Fame. And I didn't even fully take 10 minutes to enjoy that announcement, because as soon as President Baker told me I was in, I congratulated him, I thanked him, and the first thoughts in my mind was, did Coach Dungy get in? Did John Lynch get in? And he informed me that they didn't. And the demeanor of sadness, I turned and immediately thinking like, wow, I just wish they would have got in. And my wife stopped me and she said, stop it. I said, Carol, stop what? She said, for one moment, enjoy something that you did with your teammates and they're proud of you. Enjoy this moment for you. You was just told you were in the Hall of Fame, and the first thing out of your mouth after congratulations is you think about your teammates. And I'm not saying you're wrong. She said, that's why I love you. But I also love you to tell you, you finna take 5 minutes and enjoy this moment for you. And that's when I really, for the next probably 30, 45 minutes, like I never really took the time to do that. And that's kind of what I do mostly now. When I'm around my old teammates, I really just enjoy the time to be around them and pour into them our joyous moments. Because we had some really good moments during my playing career. We really did, and as I said before, I try my best to enjoy them as much as I can. But it's hard, again, as I said before, it's hard for me. And I had to explain that to my wife, a little while later. It's hard for me to think fully like that when all I've accomplished, I've been part of a team. It's really hard for me to do it. So I just try to enjoy that moment when I'm around my teammates. But if that's the one thing I would tell myself, it really would be that. And to do yoga earlier in my career.
So on that note, with yoga, being a yoga instructor, I find it, yes.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you for bringing that up. I find it very difficult for men to feel comfortable getting into yoga. So what would you recommend to men for keeping their health very well rounded, how would you recommend them step into yoga when it's more of a female dominated arena that don't necessarily feel comfortable with that?
Well, I would first tell all the men that start doing it, get to the front of the room. And here's why. You don't have to look to nobody in front of you and to the side of you to see how flexible they are and make you feel bad about how non-flexible you are. So that was my first tip I said, I'm going to the front where everyone will probably see how bad I am and feel good about themselves. But more importantly, I want to make sure that I'm competing against me and not the person next to me. And secondly, I say, don't be afraid to fail. Men doing yoga, don't be afraid to fail. Yes, you're not going to be as flexible as, the women in class naturally, but you're in there for you. And you're in there to get better for you. And that's kind of how I started. Yeah, there was a lot of people laughing at what I was doing, but in my mind, I said, in 7 months, I'm giving myself, we'll see who's laughing. I turned it into a competition. I did. I said, I'm going to compete against me. This downward dog, I'm going to be able to hold this for 5 good minutes. And I'm going to bring my knee up through my hands instead of outside my arm. I'm going to come right up through my hands. I'm going to get my hips and back flexible like that. So one of my tips was when I started watching, back when I started watching something on TV, I would just take 5 minutes of doing a commercial and I'd just do that pose. And you'd be amazed, that 7 months turned into 3 months. And I remember the young lady that was to my left in the corner laughing at me wasn't so funny anymore, because I started competing. I turned it into a competition. But for those that do, and the other thing I would suggest to men too, I would tell them to do hot yoga. Hot yoga and heat your body up. Because then those bones of ours and those muscles get a lot more looser in the heat, the controlled heat. So I would say do hot yoga, and I would say definitely move to the front so you don't see nobody feel bad and turn around and leave. So have fun doing it. God, have fun. Whatever you do, whether it's walking your neighborhoods with a friend, the weekend, have fun doing it. Man, life's too short not to have fun. We think about it. God, we had some tragedies, unfortunate tragedies, whether it's the fires or the senseless shootings that's been going on. And man, as I pray for our nation, I pray that we have fun with life, because it is precious. It is. Have fun doing what we're doing. A couple more. Can I take a couple more? All right. Yes, sir.
Speaking of teammates, who was your favorite teammate to play with? And be careful. Be careful what you say, because I text a couple of them. So.
Who was my favorite teammate? You guys got phones and social media. Can I hide behind this flag with that? All right, Derrick, be a politician. Everybody was my favorite teammate. But, wow, I honestly, I really tried to enjoy every one of them in their own moment. And that's what a lot of them, when we're around each other, that they appreciate about me is I never ask someone to be who they're not. As flamboyant as bold as Keyshawn was, man, we had a stage big enough for that personality to stand on and not interfere with us being a team. Warren, as big a personality as Warren was, when it came to this team, he's a great teammate. Yeah, he rubbed some people the wrong way a lot of times, but man, when we was on that field, you would want to have Warren Sapp in your foxhole. From Brad Johnson, my Warwick Dunn, who was my teammate the longest from Florida State to here, and all the Florida State guys, they're going to move ahead of the non-Florida State guys in terms of my teammates. But everybody had their own. My teammate the longest, that was Rondé Barber. Rondé and I played a lot of snaps together, and we knew how each other think on that football field. We could just do things, and the coaches wondering what we doing, and we just asked them to trust us. Trust our instincts, trust us playing together. It was truly amazing. But each one of my teammates had their own stage to stand on. And again, I could honestly say my job as the captain of this team was to make sure that everybody that came into this building was on my team knew how important they was, period. It didn't matter if you were Rondé Barber, Edel Shepard, you know, or Danny Lewis. Who nobody know who the heck is Danny Lewis. But Danny Lewis was a practice squad player that was here for 4 weeks back in 1999. It was important to make him feel like he was just as important to me as Rondé Barber because we were a team. So I appreciate all my teammates, honestly, and the fact that they allowed me to lead them. When you think about humility, when they put their trust in you as their captain, to stand in front of them and convey messages day in and day out and for get them to buy in, that's the ultimate respect to me that I earned my teammates' respect in doing that. And at the same time, I kept my mouth shut when their personalities were time to let their personalities flow. The coaches trusted me to monitor that balance, and we did. I didn't have a bad teammate, I'll tell you that. I'm blessed. I can't really say it was one guy that I wish he was never on this team. That's never been the case. Way to trap me with that question.
Mr. Brooks, I want to ask a selfish question. As a school,
yes, I love Bucko, Bruce. Yes,
and you look darn good in creamsicle. As a school administrator, I want to thank you and Coach Dungy for the impact you've had on our youth. Years ago, you visited Lutz Elementary when I was a teacher, and as someone who's just started a dad's club, All Pro Dads in New Tampa, you're what I call an untouchable. You're established, you work, you're busy in the community. So schools may not have a chance to get you to come out. I'm asking if maybe you all can think about one day is maybe creating a video or something that we can share with our students, our youth, because the principles that you sell every day helps us in education teach our children what's needed beyond health, motivation, etc. And I've always admired you, and I recently mentioned this to Coach Dungy. You know, we're losing some of that in society. And I really think if we have a format that we can access without invading your privacy, your time, etc., it would truly help us send that message to our youth.
Well, thank you. And we are actually working with, say like All Pro Dads, for example. They're getting testimonies on their websites that you can access to play that during any time that you are. And there's other organizations. Our alumni club, our Bucks Alumni Club, and the NFL Retired Association here, we're really trying to find out to attack the problem that you're saying where, you know, most of the kids gonna relate to the current players, but the message is the same. And we're trying to figure out a way to how do we have that connection that's beyond, you know, the teach-ins that we had last week. How do we make that an ongoing and consistent message? I'll tell you this for those for asking that question, on our charity website, I post motivational videos that you can go to and tap into for schools. And Jeff Eakes and I really talked about that format, whether, you know, it's doing graduations or doing something where we get, you know, all of our youth to have a positive message, or is it best to segment them down where you don't have the mass group, that you have isolated, you know, groups that you tend to connect with. But again, I appreciate obviously you serving in our education and community, and continue to think about that because we'll continue to figure it out. And I would just ask that you tap other resources too, not just professional athletes. It's people in this world doing good every single day that don't have the sports acumen, but they're doing the exact same thing, having the exact same positive message. And to me, it's about the message, it's not about the person delivering it. So I would ask you too to reach out to other resources as well. I can hear you, Jeff.
Derrick, it's nice to see you again. I had the pleasure of meeting you when you first came to Tampa, when you were drafted. You put your crystal ball on. What's the game going to look like 5 years? It's changed so much, the rules and grades.
Yes.
What is your crystal ball?
Well, thank you. Jeff's question was around what do I think the game's going to look like in 5 years from now and put my crystal ball on. One thing I would say is going to look like is simply this. It's definitely going to be safer, because every single year there are NFL rules that are safer, and more importantly, colleges, high school, and prep leagues are all following the same base. So what the NFL is doing is trying to make sure from the top down that we're all consistent in what we're educating our kids, our parents, everybody that's playing football, whether it's tackle football, whether it's flag football, whether it's rugby or other sports. We're trying to be that example of consistency from top all the way down to youth league in terms of what the governing rules are of the game and guard them in that way. I think the men that are playing the game, they're going to be bigger, faster, stronger. As technology changes and our kids grow, they are. You know, they're eating better groceries. They're eating healthier, they get more educated, they get more training. So the game is definitely going to continue to grow in that way. And we're going to continue to form I think technology will be a bigger part of our game than what it is now, to be honest with you. You can see technology being a part of football in every facet, from the surfaces that are on the mic to now, again, coaches wirelessly talking to players on the field. I think coaches will be able to talk to more than just one player on the field. I'm anxious to see how technology continues to evolve, where you now these guys throwing to holograms. You don't even need guys working out with quarterbacks. They're throwing the holograms when they put on this helmet to see receivers. So you see technology being more and more part of our game. But one thing will never change about our game. There are going to be collisions. You're going to have human beings getting very intimate with each other and tackling. It's not going to never change. That part is going to be consistent. We just got to make sure that we minimize the risk with that consistency. And hopefully we'll have a healthier game, right? From what we learned today, that we take this education, and not just for us, that we take this education to our kids and to others and make them just as whole as we are.
Just compare West Shore to the training camp.
Yes, it's very unbelievable. Man, I think about, God, you know what, I give you a funny example. You know what was our indoor facility when we played? It was a trailer at Disney. And they used to pump air into this trailer, like a cooling trailer. It was an artificial, and that was the worst thing ever. Because you go in there and you be sweating, and now you got cold sweat, and you got to come back out in this 90-degree weather. And guys were cramping. They were cramping up because they'd be hot, and now they just go down, and now we got to get back up again. Our bodies didn't know how to respond to that. So now you've been in this facility and the education that comes beyond that. And the final piece that I would say to our game is going to change is the access. I think the general public is going to continue to have more and more access to our games behind the scenes than ever before. Like right now, you can go on NFL.com and you can watch the same all 22 tape that the coaches get. You can watch it yourself. I would have never thought that 25 years ago. I thought that tape was put in a secret locker and nobody would ever see it. But now you guys got access to the same playing tape that the coaches had when I played that I thought nobody would have access to. I mean, we literally had to probably sign over our firstborn to take tape home. Didn't leave the facility. It was that much protected. So again, another way that technology is going to continue to be a part of our game. We'll take one final question. Oh, we had two hands. All right, we got two. You go first, sir. I can't see. Yes. You have a question? Oh, he backed down. All right, that's okay.
Thank you for your time. First of all, being a big fan since I was a kid. I wanted to ask your most memorable, your favorite Buccaneer moment, whether it's return from Big Six to the Super Bowl or whatever it may be.
Oh, you just said it, man. Can we all take a group picture over here with this white banner? That's probably, in terms of football, I would say that's probably my most favorite play, obviously, is the interception in the Super Bowl. That's probably personally my most favorite play of my career. I would say my most memorable play is Rondé's interception the week before in Philadelphia. Man, you talk about a stadium that was totally quiet. after years of hearing that stadium, and you never thought it would shut up with insults and everything, but to be a part and running down that field and look around, as Rondé running, we're looking around, and it is so quiet, those fans. So those two plays will stand out. And as far as memorable performances, I would say Warren Sapp's performance against the 49ers in 1997. To see him take over a game, that was special. To be up and close, you talk about, man, he put Jerry Rice and Steve Young, two Hall of Fame, he put both of them out in one game. And he was just a beast that day. And Simeon Rice, his performance against the Saints the year we won the Super Bowl, 5 sacks in one half, unblocked, wow. And, another memorable form with John Lynch, I almost broke my ribs, trying to hit his brother-in-law, and I'm holding up John Allred, his brother-in-law, and Lynch missed him and hit me, and didn't even help me up. Every time he sees, I'm like, dude, you remember when you hit me in Chicago? He said, you're never gonna let me live that down. I said, neither are my ribs. But again, I thank you guys. Please stand up, give yourselves a round of applause for being stand up, serious. You guys are the superstars here. To come be a part of our health forum today, and again, I salute you guys, and I do want to take a picture. Is that fine? In front of the banner with this group, my most memorable play. How about end it that way? We'll go over here and take a group picture.
Ladies and gentlemen, get it one more time. NFL Hall of Famer, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Derrick Brooks. Well, folks.